Man, I just cannot catch a break. I stay up all night the other day because Toei decided to drop a crazy new trailer, extending trailer 3, and then what, like 2 days later, Bandai Namco come out with the most spoilerific trailer featuring the climax of the film, which is what we're going to be covering today. So if you are very, very anxious about spoilers and don't want to be filled in on anything, you may want to stay away from this video. But since this is officially revealed now, I'm going to talk about it, so it's not technically a spoiler anymore, I guess. Anyway, we're going to do it live because, honestly, there's not masses to cover in here, and I feel like I'm kind of excited enough and it's easy enough to break down without going through all of the crazy motions. So let's begin. We kick things off here with a little look at Gogeta, our first ever look, well, our first proper look that we're allowed to see rather than a leak, of Gogeta. He's looking pretty damn different from his debut in Movie 12 all of those years ago. This is looking to be a Naohiro Shintani correction or possibly his own key animation. It fits very much in line with every single character sheet we've seen from him, and I kind of love it. Oh, it's just beautiful. Some of the key differences you can note here are that, of course, aside from the colours, which have been changed from orange to yellow to match the lore-appropriate colour that we see on characters like Gotenks, his Widow's Peak has also been significantly reduced. Before he was kind of like Vegeta with a bang, whereas now it's a lot more human-looking, I suppose. Vegeta always looked a little bit of an alien head, and that kind of made its way onto Gogeta in a pretty big way. So they've definitely gone out of their way to make this feel like a new Gogeta rather than just recycling the old design, and I kind of respect that. Moving along, we get a look at Naotoshi Shida. Oh boy, this crazy man has stuck to the character sheets just like he said he would, and my jaw is on the floor. We're going to go through this step by step really, because there is a lot to unpack here. He said a couple of months ago, I really approve of Shintani's designs, and so I'm going to do my best to stick to them, and he really has. Of course, he hasn't compromised his shading in the intense close-ups, which is great, but the actual form is very different. The eyes are a lot softer and rounder, the ears are pretty much one-to-one with what you see on those sheets. It's looking great, and of course, this, if we go frame by frame here, this look at Gogeta, wow, it is so close to that first reveal. He's really done a great job here, and this is what I'm so glad to see big idiosyncratic animators taking on board. He hasn't compromised his style though. You still have these little things here and there that are straying perhaps a little further from the sheets than you might expect, but they are still honoring them just great. I love the more angular face shape, those huge slanted eyes. This really is a Shida meets Shintani approach, and it's just gorgeous. Those effects are unbelievable. God. I mean, you can go through it frame by frame here, and you just have like a million impact frames. Shida is so good at this. And of course, we go through step by step here, and you can see his gorgeous looking effects billowing out. His crazy hands are always on show. Always. You cannot have a Shida cut without his crazy hands coming in. Of course, you can see here, facially, that is so Shintani. Look at those ears. Look at the more refined shading, the softer approach. This is perfect, and this is exactly what I was talking about the other day. You can be your own animator and stand out, but you can do it within amazing design sheets like these, and this is Shida proving to the world he can do it, and it is possible. Once again, you can see the same thing here on Broly if we go frame by frame, very much in line with the character sheets, but still not compromising that great shading. Form is much more important than anything else, and Shida's really understood that. There's a lot of background animation coming in here. You can see, alongside his effects, you've got loads of cool looking, I guess, sharp line work on the floor that I think we spoke about in our last Broly video. That's been a staple of Shida for such a long time, and it's all here. Again, a much softer approach. Those ears, very Shintani. Love the exaggerated big head on this pullback here. Very cool. And of course, all of those explosions, if we pop back just a sec, this is the type of thing we always see from Shida, and God, it's just nice to see. I have to say, I kind of hope that in the full film, there's a bit more variety. I have to say, as someone who has seen Shida's work for the past 20 or so years, he's a bit formulaic, but it's always impressive, but at the same time, I kind of want him to try something a little bit different. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the full thing, and hopefully there's some really interesting stuff in here beyond, you know, his usual stuff, which again is very impressive, but, you know, we've kind of seen it all before. Not a massive criticism, just, you know, a personal issue as someone who has maybe studied this a bit too much. Now this is where things get super interesting for me, because this is Yoshihiko Umakoshi. If you don't know who that is, what have you been doing with your life, first of all? And second of all, this is the character designer for My Hero Academia. He has been on so many different shows over the years. He is a legendary animator, and he is so good. He is by far the highlight of this trailer for me. I am absolutely dying to see his final product. His style fits so well. This is a little bit more angular than what you might see on the sheets, I would imagine, but at the same time, the general approach to the musculature is very soft. Lots of cool stuff in here, and those effects are just unbelievable. It's kind of hard to see because of the compression from the stream and some of these extreme sort of CG lighting effects, but there are so many hand-drawn little billows of, I guess, smoke coming out here. You can see it on the left and right-hand side. So cool. This expression is unbelievable. He's almost looking a little bit like All Might here, which I don't know how I feel about, just because of what I was saying the other day about Takahashi, but man, it looks nice. God, I love Umakoshi so much. This is the type of thing that I'm so happy we get in Dragon Ball now. This is the type of thing those brand new sheets allow for. There is so much versatility and expression. You could not get away with this under Yamamura's designs. Now this section here is very different from anything else in this trailer. It's not Umakoshi and it's not Shida. Part of me thinks this actually might be Hirotaka Ni, because it does have a resemblance to Takahashi, but it doesn't move like him, and there are subtle differences in the shading. If you remember on Dragon Ball Super, he was getting incredibly close to Takahashi, but still very much his own person, and I think this might be him. The way those ears look, very Ni-esque, and the shading on the cheek is pretty angular in contrast to the more rounded shapes that you see from Takahashi. If this is Ni, then holy crap, the schedule affected his work so heavily in Super, and it's amazing to see him coming in here unrestrained. I could be totally wrong and totally off the mark. We'll see. Again, anything you hear me say in these videos is very much guesswork until I see the film, get to talk to animators, sit on the home video release and go through things frame by frame. There's no exact science to this. Back to Umakoshi here, you get some phenomenal smears on these hands. That thick inky line work is a trademark of his. This foreshortening, oh god, I love it so much. The storyboard for this section must be unbelievable. Nagamine is a madman, and as you can see from like everything in these trailers, the action seems to really rely on some intense camera work. I cannot wait to see the full thing. This section in particular is so good. Not only do you get this manic, screaming, gaping mouth expression that's kind of reminiscent of what we saw from Minabe back on Super, but you also get these amazing inky impact frames. Again, like I mentioned in the last trailer, this inky stuff you don't really see in Dragon Ball that very much, yet it's here in full force, and I love that we're really bringing Dragon Ball into 2018 in a big way. This is everything I wanted to see. Once again, we get the explosion that we talked about in the video the other day. I said Shinji Hashimoto like an idiot because it was like 4 AM. I of course meant Takashi Hashimoto, the effects supervisor on the film. With that though, that is the end of this very short 24-second trailer. Wow! God, that was impressive. This is just 24 seconds of the finale, and we know for a fact that the fighting is like a good 40 to 45 minutes of the film. This is just going to blow every single Dragon Ball animated property out of the water. I cannot believe I am going to be sat in a theater in Tokyo in a little over a week now. My mind is going to explode. Oh, I hope you appreciated this breakdown. It was not scripted for once. This is just me screaming into a microphone after seeing this trailer for the first time. I love everything in here. I think it really sells just how good and versatile Shintani's designs are, and how you can still be your own animator without moving away and ignoring them entirely. I'm sorry to dwell on that point, but I really feel like this was a very convenient trailer to drop after all of the controversy the other day. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this. Let me know down in the comment section below how excited this trailer made you. Tell me what kinds of things you really want to see from this fight. And of course, let me know what you think of Gogeta's new design. A lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for the old one. I have to say, I didn't like movie 12. Please don't lynch me. So this is a dream for me. I finally get it. I finally understand why people love this character, and I really hope this film makes me fall in love with him for the first time. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to rate the video, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next time.